Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be discussing matrices. This is a continuation of the SAT and ACT series. So this is how a matrix is represented. The order of a matrix is the number of rows. So the number of rows into the number of columns. I'm just going to write it as CO. So let's take an example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what is the order of this matrix? It's 2 into 3, right? Because the number of rows is 2 and the number of columns is 3. The rows are horizontal and the columns are vertical. Now let's look at adding or subtracting matrices. If we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again, and then you add 6, say minus 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. You just add the matrices which are in the same position. For example, this is in the first position, right? You add this and the 6. So the answer will be 7. 2 minus 7 minus 5. 3 plus 8, which is 11. 4 plus 9, which is 13. 5 plus 10, which is 15. And 6 plus 11, which is 17. So this is the answer when you add these two matrices. So if they ask you to add or subtract matrices, but the order isn't same, that means the order we saw it was the number of rows into the number of columns. If the order isn't the same, then the answer is no solution, as you cannot add or subtract them. Subtraction also works in a similar way. Now let's move on to multiplication. So multiplication, they just represent it like this in the SAT or ACT test. And I'm just writing the order as M1 into N1 for this, and M2 into N2 for this. So to be able to multiply, it is only possible when N1 is equal to M2. That means the number of columns in the first matrix should be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. So multiplication is only possible when this equality is true. Now let's look at an example. 1, 2, 3, 4 into 5, 6, 7, 8. So the way multiplication works, it isn't direct like how addition and subtraction works. You first do 1 into 5 plus 2 into 7. So you multiply the rows so you multiply the first row with the first column in the second matrix. So 1 into 5 plus 2 into 7. And then the second side, it will be 1 into 6 plus 2 into 8 plus 2 into 8. And now here it will be 3 into 5. So this into this plus 4 into 7. And then finally 3 into 6 plus 4 into 8. So we can solve this and we'll get the answer for the multiplication of these two matrices. Now let's look at the transpose of a matrix. It's represented as this. This is the transpose. So I'm just going to define a matrix as A. If A is A, B, C, D, and they ask you what is the transpose of A. So in transpose, the rows become columns and the columns become rows. So the rows will become a column. So this row will become a column. So it will become AB, and the column will become a row. So this column will become a row. So CD will be represented as CD. So you just have to remember, all rows become columns and all columns become rows for transpose of a matrix. Now let's look at determinant of a matrix. That's represented as det A. Just going to define the same matrix again. A, B, C, D. The determinant of A is AD, so A times D minus C times B. Sometimes they'll give you the formula in the question, but it's good to know it in case they don't. So it's A times D minus C times B. Okay, that's it for today's video, guys. In today's video, I discussed matrices. I discussed all the possible questions and the topics which they'll ask in the SAT or ACT question paper. Thank you.